All right, IM3. Today we are going to be using right triangle trigonometry to find missing angles in a right triangle. So the Sohcahtoa. So if we want to remember Sohcahtoa, where SOH sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, tangents equal to opposite over adjacent. All right. And what we're actually going to be doing is using the inverse trig operations. Let me pull my calculator real quick. So let's look at an example. Given the equation here, so sine of A is equal to 0.45. So that's sine at angle A. That's what that is. What we want to do is solve this equation for A. So what we're going to do, just like any equation we solve, we do the opposite of what's being done to the variable. So we're taking the sine of A. So the opposite of the sine of A is called the inverse sine. So what you're actually going to do is take what's called the inverse sine. It's sine to the -1 of both sides. Got a little crowded in there, but the inverse sine and the sine will cancel each other out. You want to go A is equal to, so on a calculator, all right, what you're going to look for, and actually, let me see if I can pull up the calculator real quick. I'll have, we can look at this. So what we're looking for on a calculator. We have the sine, cosine, tangent functions. This in degrees. Now I can't tell which one's degrees and which one's right. We'll figure it out. But we want the, no. Usually, we'll try this one. There we go. So this one has the inverse. It's in degrees. It has the inverse sine, cosine, tangent functions. So that's what you're looking for, is the little button that says sine to the -1. And our problem was the inverse sine of 45. So let's see how this works. Sometimes, yeah, it might say inverse sine. So inverse sine, nope, it was 0.45. So we need to go back. So the measure of angle A is 26.7 degrees. On some calculators, you'll have to push the second button to do that. If you need help finding that button on your calculator, I'll help you out in class. But the inverse sine, it was, now I can't remember, it's 26 point something degrees. It was 26.74 degrees. So here, the cosine, so same thing. I'm going to start off by taking the inverse cosine of both sides. I'm going to give myself a little bit more space when I write this. So the inverse cosine of 0.32 can be A is equal to, I'm not going to switch over to a different calculator. I'm just going to do it on my iPhone calculator. Second, I actually got to put in the number first. So 0.32, second inverse cosine. So that comes out to 71.34 degrees. Yeah. And then last one, tangent, it's the same thing. You take the inverse tangent of both sides. So inverse tangent, it's tangent to the -1 of 0.9, 0.9. And then the inverse tangent of that is 41.99 rounded. So how we use that, 41.99, how we use that in a problem. So find the measure of angle C. So here is angle C. First thing I'm going to do is label the side lengths in relation to angle C. So this longest side here is the hypotenuse. The side across from the angle, make an eyeball. The eyeball is looking at the opposite side. And then here we have the adjacent side. So what we need to remember is Sohcahtoa. Sohcahtoa. Not how I want to write it. Sohcahtoa. There we go. So take a look at what you know. We know the opposite side and the adjacent side. So the trig function that uses opposite and adjacent is the tangent. I'm going to do the tangent of C, we're looking for angle C, is equal to 20 over 30, opposite over adjacent. All right. Actually, I'm going to give myself a little space here to write an inverse tangent. So 20 over 30. Now to solve, you just got to do the inverse tangent. Super simple. Take the inverse tangent of both sides. So those cancel each other out. You're left with just C. And then inverse tangent of 20 over 30. So that's point like 66666. I'm just gonna, depending on your calculator, you might be able to just enter it exactly as it's written. I'm using a iPhone calculator, so I have to do 20 divided by 30 first, and then use my inverse tangent function. That comes out to 33.69. Let's do one more example. All right, so find the measure of angle A this time. So angle A is right here. Label the sides in relation to angle A. So this longest side here is the hypotenuse. The eyeball is looking at the opposite side. So this side here is the adjacent. So we need to think about Sohcahtoa. Sohcahtoa. Figure out what you know. So we know the hypotenuse and we know the opposite. So which trig function uses opposite hypotenuse? That'd be sine. So we're going to do the sine of A is equal to 14 over 26. Opposite or adjacent. Solve for A. You take the inverse sine of both sides. And so on my iPhone calculator, I need to do 14 divided by 26 first, and then the inverse sine, and that comes out to 32.58. Cancels out. Get A is equal to 32.58 degrees. And that'll do it for this lesson. This is it for the review of the trigonometry stuff. So we'll be getting into new stuff next time.